G'day fellas, and welcome back to Patch Day. Indeed it is. For you guys it's Wednesday. For me it's Thursday, 6:46 in the morning, and we are reviewing the patch notes. I've just woken up, given baby a bottle, and we're good to go. So welcome back. We're doing another patch notes review. So for Age of Empires 4, it's coming out, so this is releasing on August 4. So as I said, for you guys that's tomorrow. For me it's today. We'll be rolling out balance changes, bug fixes, and more. And yes, that means we're also including the prelate attack move bug you've reported. We've also added more improvements to hotkey features, including the ability to batch queue units properly when using shift, mapping more hotkeys for Civ-specific commands. Here are a few highlights that you can look forward to in tomorrow's update. Remappable hotkey fixes, map balance changes, other balance features, quality of life bug fixes. There are so many spicy changes that I'm looking forward to. All right, so let's get into it. So starting off, build a spotlight. Remappable hotkeys. When using the fully remappable hotkey layout, holding down shift key and unit production commands will correctly batch produce units. When using the fully remappable hotkey layout, holding down a hotkey now correctly queues up multiple units in a production facility and buys and sells large quantities of resources at the market. Yo, can we get this to actually work when not using fully remappable hotkeys? Because I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work. You just got to spam the hotkey on the keyboard. That's the only way I know how to make it work. Fixes to remappable key bindings. Well, there's a whole bunch here. If you guys want to see this, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can catch it. New mod options. We've added additional terrain type for modders that spawn just one instance of each main resource type. Gold. I got no idea what this is, but I like the sound of it. I don't know how you'd balance that, though. What if you end up with like 47 stones and no berries? But balance. General. Herbal medicine. Healing rate improvement reduced from 100% down to 60%. So this is the healing tech available in the Castle Age. So the developers say, with the addition of attack move healing in the last major update, we've seen you all bringing for more monks on the battlefield. This change is mostly targeted at the Delhi Sultanate, who can stack really high healing on elephants, but it's also a way to temper the effects of attack move healing in general. Okay, so the first change, look, I don't know if this necessarily solves the problem with the Delhi, and that's, you know, the Delhi timing push with the elephants and whatnot, but I think it's a step in the right direction. My fear is that you're not hitting the right thing, and that is, if you've got 35 scholars healing one elephant, it doesn't matter whether it's 60%, it doesn't matter whether it's 100%, it's still not going to die. Now, obviously, you know, I'm using Hyperbole there. We're not really having that many scholars, but you guys get the idea. You know, like when we saw the change from 960 health to 860 health, this wasn't, it wasn't a big deal, and I don't think this really is. I think overall it's still the right direction to go, so I like it. I think it's very smart. Survival techniques. Cost reduced from 100 gold, 50 wood, to 75 gold, 25 wood. Research time reduced from 45 seconds to 25 seconds. This is a huge buff. So now it costs 50 resources less, and the research time has been reduced by 20 seconds. This is massive. We continue to see them buffing up survival techniques. You know, they're trying to make survival techniques meta. It's that classic, you know, stop trying to make fetch a thing. Stop trying to make survival techniques a thing. It's not going to happen, Relic. But at the same time, I'm loving this. This is basically a free tech for us Chinese mains. That's 64 gold right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing civs look to get this in the Dark. Oh, 75 gold, still a fair bit though for Dark Age. You might see French get it in the Dark Age, potentially. Yeah, because French get it reduced even further. All right, well, let's move forward. Siege engineering. Research time reduced from 45 seconds to 30 seconds. RAM, the cost has been reduced from 300 to 250. Developer note, these changes are aimed at making a defense against a tower rush easier by reducing the time to access RAM construction and the cost of building a defensive RAM. We're also aiming at making feudal aggression more viable against turtling players. And I think this is the big part, right? Like, this is where it's really hitting. Aiming to make feudal aggression more viable against turtling players. Because now all of a sudden, 3 rams doesn't cost me 900 wood, it only costs me 750. And that's a whole lot more meaningful. Means I can do use 150 wood on something else. 3 archers, potentially. So this is a great change, and a change in the right direction. The meta, we've seen it shift towards this 2TC meta, and the reason why it's gone in that direction is because there's no real response that people can have to 2 town centers. Because, yeah, sure, you can try and do a ram attack, but we just saw massive changes to the ram. So one of the big things that they changed was the fact that town centers have increased health, so they went from 24 to 2500 health. Rams have decreased health, going from 700 down to 420, And the town centers also shoot more arrows. So they used to only, they capped at 13 before, now they cap at 20. So there's all these different factors that were like a terrible nerf to Rams. So a great little change there, bringing them back in. I do like it. Scout, health regen reduced by 50%. Production time increased from 20 to 25 seconds. Reducing the height of stealth forest from 500 to 100 to allow for scouts to see through them reliably without obstruction. Okay. These are very interesting changes. So gone are the days of opening scout, 2 scout opening on every single civilization. You want to open a scout now, and it's going to put you behind an additional 5 seconds. So not only are you going to be behind a villager on your enemy, but you're also going to be behind another 5 seconds. So this could be pretty big. And then obviously 50% health reduction. So, you know, the scout is one of the few units that regenerates health just passively. So they've reduced that down by 50%. So I think this is a change in the right direction. We continue to see aggression in the Dark Age with scouts. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It can be annoying to deal with. So it's understandable why they would look to do this. And, you know, scouts still definitely have an important role throughout the mid game. And I wouldn't be surprised if we still do see players go for a 2 scout opening. But this is a passive buff, or I guess you could call it a pseudo buff to the Rus. Rus, one of the few civilizations that is capable of training scouts in the Dark Age from buildings that aren't their town center. The other one obviously being the Mongols with their early stable. So potentially we could see more Mongol scout openings. That is something that we have seen before in the past. We could also see a lot more Rus coming into play just with this little change. But obviously by the same token, it's a bit of a Rus nerf, isn't it? Because now you've got less scouts out doing or healing up. And then a good change here, obviously, for readability in stealth forests. Early horsemen, vanguard men-at-arms, and spearmen cost to advance to the next tier reduced from 75.25 to 35.50. What? Research time reduced from 30 to 15. Okay. Dark Age fighting is back on the menu, boys. To be honest, we've been seeing a shitload of Dark Age fighting in the most recent patch. And I feel like this is only just going to make it even better. Because now all of a sudden, I can open spears, I can open a racks, and I don't even have to think about my upgrade. Like, it used to take this long, 30 seconds. Now it only takes 15. You chuck an Imperial Official on that bad boy, it's taken 5 seconds. Barely 5 seconds to research. And it costs nothing, 35 gold, 15 food. You want to know something funny? If you play in China and you get this upgrade, and you've got the Imperial Academy giving the bonus to the barracks, you're actually going to be getting gold from it. Like, I'm not even kidding you. You get 64 gold from this. So you get, it costs you 50 resources. This is an MLM come to Age of Empires. I'm loving it. Buildings, let's take a look and see what we've got here. Defenses. Defenses no longer favor rams as a target. So when defending a ram push, defenses will get stuck attacking rams since they do so little damage. It's possible to force defenses to attack other targets manually, but we want to give defenders more breathing space to focus on managing more interesting elements of combat. I feel like that's a slippery slope. You know what? Hey, you know, my units are, my spearmen keep attacking the enemy archers. Can we get something so that they attack all of the horsemen just automatically for me? I shouldn't have to click them. Like, you get what I mean, right? It's a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope. But okay, understandable. Look, I think the best thing that they did was make it so that it used to be that the town center was forced to attack the ram. But then they changed that. They reverted that. So I think that was a good change. I think that mechanic rewards a competent player, but obviously, you know, at the lower levels, it's very difficult to get that going, you know, constantly, you know, right click an archer and then shift click it down. So it makes sense. Town center weapons. Reducing the number of garrison slots from 20 to 15. That's the main town center. Default weapon attack interval increased from 1.12 to 1.88. Garrison attack interval increase from 1.12 to 1.88. So this is a massive nerf to town centers as well. So it means that now not only are you firing 1/4 less arrows, but you're also firing them. I mean, this is pretty close to a 50% nerf. I mean, we could do the math on this, but essentially what this means is you used to be firing arrows every 1.12 seconds. Now you're firing it every 1.88. And obviously, you know, you double this, it's 2.24. 2.24 is a lot closer to this number than 1.12 is. So this is a pretty big change. And once again, sort of goes into that theme of rams being buffed up. We saw earlier that the ram cost was reduced. We saw siege engineering coming in a little bit earlier. So we're continuing on this theme, and then town center garrison slots reduced from 20 to 15. They decided to mention it twice. So this change in combination with the change to prevent defenses from prioritizing attacking rams helps to even out the defender advantage. We want pushes in the feudal age to be more viable at punishing heavy greed strategies, and I think that's exactly what it's going to achieve. With this, it's going to be much... so I guess the big thing is with this is that the town center is going to be firing on your archers, it's going to be firing on your spearmen, it's going to be firing on your knights, but it's going to be doing so less often. And then on top of that, it's going to be doing it with less damage. So I think this is a good factor. I'm curious what the breakpoints would be for this though. 15 villages in the town center versus 20 villages in the town center. You know, maybe 20 villages one-shot a spearman, but 15 don't one-shot a spearman. You know, I don't know the exact numbers. I'm just spitballing here, but that could be the type of thing. Or, you know, maybe they one-shot a Dark Age spearman, but not a hardened spearman, something like that. Or maybe they don't one-shot if it's got +1. So there's a whole lot of breakpoints that players are now going to be looking to, because there are very reasonable timings that I suspect are going to be happening. This is a great change. As I mentioned earlier, we're seeing 2TC coming out all the time. This is only just going to serve to reduce the amount that we see 2TC coming out. And honestly, with this patch, every single thing I'm seeing China buffs everywhere. This is crazy because it's my strong opinion that I think Chinese with 1TC Song Dynasty is the future. I think it's probably going to be the only way to play them. And this is a buff to Chinese Song Dynasty. This is a buff Chinese 1TC Song Dynasty. This is a buff. This is a buff right here, buff right here. Like every single thing is just buffing up 1TC Chinese Song Dynasty. This buffs it up even further because now we want to be aggressive. We never want to make a second town center. Outposts, health reduced from 1,000 to 750. Build time increased from 45 to 60 seconds. Outpost garrison attack interval increased from 1.12 to 1.88. So that's not the arrow slit interval. That's not the hand cannon interval. That's the garrison interval. So those are treated differently from the default weapon attack, or from that emplacement weapon attack. So that's gone up as well. So beautiful little buffs here. So these are all obviously targeted at a more aggressive outpost. So if you think about it from the perspective of a defensive position up against a raid, well, your outpost is still going to be up. You're not going to be threatened. Okay, sure, it might be 15 seconds late or something like that, but you're going to be fine. And then when the outpost is getting sieged down, you're still going to have time to react. But what this does is it puts it on the flip side. It says if you've got an outpost going up near you, not only is that outpost now going to take 15 seconds longer, but it's also going to have reduced health. And then this in combination, you know, the villager pull and then the extra damage while it's under construction, hopefully this should make it a little bit better. And then most importantly, when there's 5 units standing, or 5 villagers building it, and then they manage to get it up and they all jump inside, it means that you're going to be taking less damage from them as well. So I think this is a great change. Individual civilization changes. Let's get to it. The Delhi Sultanate. Geez, there's only a few changes. Tower War Elephant health reduced from 860 to 600. Okay. All right. Ranged armor increased from 4 to 7. I feel like this just buffs them. This just makes them even stronger. What do I kill them with? I genuinely don't know what I meant to kill a Tower War Elephant with. If you know, please leave the answer in the comments. You can't say Bombard because the Bombard got nerfed in the most recent patch, so that's out. Springald gets no bonus against it. Mangonel, sure, it does damage against ranged, but good luck hitting that bad boy when it's got all the scholars behind it healing it up. I mean, this to me, this is like, you've just... It's just a huge buff. Like, is the answer just spearmen? Is it just like mass spearmen? Is that the only way to do it? Do I just go mass spears and then like maybe crossbows to deal with the men-at-arms, or like what am I building to kill this? Because it used to be Chokunu, but now it's gone from 4 to 7 armor. And then don't forget the +1 and then the +2. So now you're talking about 9 ranged armor on this bad boy. If you were thinking about a crossbow, which is what we used to use, well, the crossbow's just got plus or -3 damage to it as well. Not to mention that it's also got the blacksmith upgrades on it as well. So look, interesting changes for the Delhi. I feel like if anything, this just makes them a lot stronger, because the one primary way to deal with them, I guess the other way that you could deal with them is just outpost emplacements, like Springald Towers, right? Like you just get 4 or 5 Springald Towers up, and then that's actually going to dish out a lot more damage because they've got a higher rate of fire. Maybe Springalds are still good. I think Springalds in H3 still might be good because you can snipe out the scholars. We'll have to think about it, but interesting change. Once again, I feel like this isn't the the right angle. I feel like maybe you got to put a cap on the amount of healers that can heal an individual unit. I feel like that's probably the only way to deal with this, because you've got a tank, a healer that also acts as a DPS. And I tell you what, if I've played enough World of Warcraft to know that is busted as hell. Town center production. Oh, we got French nerfs. French nerfs. Town center production rate bonus set to Dark Age 10%, Feudal Age 10%, Castle Age 15%, Imperial Age 20%. Get the out, French. Good to see you gone. Look, French is still really good here, but this is good. This nerfs Feudal Age French, and I think that's the right decision. If I remember correctly, it used to be 15, 20, 25. It doesn't say what they've got. But this is what they had, rather, but it does show what they've got now. This is a really good change, and you might not think of it as a big thing, but basically it's a second off every villager now in the Dark Age, and 2 seconds off every villager in the Feudal Age. This is big. Developer note. Now, I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. Our data shows that the French are exceptionally strong around the 10 to 20 minute range. So this slight nerf to their town center bonus is aimed at addressing their runaway economy in the early stages of the game. I like that it's in August of 2022 that we're finally nerfing this. Like, this is objectively the best civilization bonus in the game, and it's only just getting nerfed now. Good nerfs though. To be honest, I guess I know why you didn't go 5% in the Dark Age. It's kind of hard to have integers of 5%, but hold on. Wait, 5%? No, 5% would still work, right? Because 10% would be 2 seconds. Because it's 20 seconds, and so you divide 20. Yeah, it would be. So they're still producing at 18 seconds a pop. Yo, get this down to 5%. Come on. Come on. I'm sick of this. You know what? It's baby steps. Good change. Good change. Good change. Baby steps. Holy Roman Empire. HRE emergency repairs cooldown increased from 60 to 75 seconds. Good change. It was absolutely busted. It still is probably busted on this. This is a really good technology. One of the best in the game, or one of the best unique that you can get in the game, especially with the change to castles, keeps, stone, all that jazz. Really good in the late game, incredibly strong in the early game. You can go to TC, no problems. So let's see what the dev said. In combination with this change, we feel that the town center changes and the ramp changes should make the HRE fast tech strategy much riskier, and will make punishing greedy HRE players much easier than before. Interesting. Prelates, like life, have found a way to exploit their shiny new attack move behavior. We've ensured they respect the cooldown of the inspiration ability correctly. Wonderful. So it used to be, so 8, you should be able to inspire 8 units or 8 villages off cooldown or on cooldown or whatever you want to call it. And with attack move, that could go up to, I think it was 12 or 13. So look, I think these are good changes. Really, really good changes. Mongol changes coming through. Mongols, that's it. Mongols now begin the game with a packed Gur. Okay. All right, so what does this mean? This actually means that, you guys remember when you were watching EGC TV and it was a Mongol mirror and one player would get gold next to their woodline and the other player wouldn't? And it would just like, as a caster, I'd be like, well, that's good game for this guy. And the reason why was because there was such a larger investment that you had to make to go and get that gold. It was not inexpensive to go and get that Gur early on. It would change the way that you'd have to play the matchup just simply based on the spawn that you had. But now with this change, it means that if you don't have gold under the TC, that it's not terrible for you. Now, obviously, you still want gold under the TC, but I don't think that it's going to hurt you anywhere near as much as before. When it comes to the Uvu, obviously Uvu's a little bit different. It doesn't really matter where it is. Ideally, you want the Uvu close to the TC so that it's not going to be hit by scouts or hit by early units or anything like that. But you can't really control that. But you can with the Gur. So what do I expect from the Mongols with this? If you guarantee that the Mongols get a packed Gur every single game, I can guarantee you, I'm not going to guarantee you, but I can pretty much guarantee you that you're going to start seeing Dark Age Wheelbarrow every single time for the Mongols. Almost every single time. I would be surprised to not see it because they just get so much from it. When you combine the Dark Age Wheelbarrow with having the Wheelbarrow as soon as they hit Feudal, combined with their Deer Stones, you've basically got this super villager that is moving extra fast with the Wheelbarrow plus the Deer Stones, and it's also doing that less because it's got the extra 5 carry capacity. So Mongols as a civilization get a lot out of Wheelbarrow, a huge amount out of Wheelbarrow. So a really interesting change there for the Mongols. Where do we think civilizations are going to be going from here? So obviously Delhi, I feel like their strength goes up from here. I feel like they move from A tier. I don't know if they'd go to A like the thing is, their feudal is still really strong, right? Like you make it up to castle with 2 sacred sites, and you take 4 out of the 5 relics, and you start making tower war elephants and spamming out scholars. Like, you're still in a really good position. Oh, knights! Oh, knights! You make knights against this now. Oh my lord, how did I forget that? Or even horsemen, actually. That wouldn't be terrible. But then you're going up against. What if they just mix in spears? Fuck. Damn it, dude. Look, I think Delhi's A, probably pushing S tier, but at the moment, not likely. French, I think it's going to take some time for this to trickle down. It's going to take some time for players to be like, oh, you know what? Old French, they would have had this. New French, not as good. Not as good. So I think it's going to take time for it to trickle down. I wouldn't be surprised if French is still, you know, an S tier pick in most regards. Holy Roman Empire, I don't think this really changes them a lot. 60 seconds to 75 seconds. I mean, it's nice, and it makes them a little bit weaker against early pushes. Honestly, I just think that Holy Roman Empire players need to learn that you don't go fast castle against Mongols and French, and their win rate is going to skyrocket to like 80%. It's really simple, guys. Stop going fast castle against French and Mongols. Play feudal. Play 2 TC if you have to. But at least this makes it a little bit more difficult if you do that. Emergency repair cooldown now reduced from 60 to 75. So look, I think HRE probably still going to be sitting in S tier. Mongols will hopefully bring them out of the depths of the D tier with the Gur. I suspect that you'll see them moving from the C or from the D tier, probably even to the B tier with this. And look, depending on how powerful that early wheelbarrow is, because I wouldn't be surprised if you see players going for an ASAP wheelbarrow. You know how the English do the ASAP wheelbarrow where they do like 2-2-2? And they immediately get wheelbarrow as quickly as they can. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same thing with Mongols, and I would not be surprised if that just changes the way that they play, maybe a bit more of a focus on the feudal age. There's a whole bunch of different ways that could go, but I think that's definitely a good buff. This is a great change. All of these changes are 100% in the right direction. Really, and obviously overall the buildings changes and the changes to the general things. I'm loving it. I am loving this. I'm loving this so much, actually. This is. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm thinking about playing Age of Empires 4 again. Map balance. Normally I don't cover map balance, but I feel like map balance is something that I do often get a bit shitty about. So look, I'm going to make. You know what? There's only 2. Oh, we got bug fixes as well. Whoa, hold on. Whoa. Hold on a minute. Oh, but all right. Settle out. The gold generation location. That could be a wrap. The generation of the location on Altai have been given a pass after seeing instances of both large and small gold spawns favoring one player. That's true. Now to ensure that both are starting small gold mine deposits don't spawn forward for one player, the fast starting gold deposit has been moved to the accessible resources distribution and will spawn behind the player in a safer location. Additionally, the large gold spawns have been moved out of balanced distribution. I have no idea what these terms mean. Accessible resource distribution, balanced distribution. All I'm hearing is that we have got more accessible golds now. That's good. Ancient Spires says, we put in a check in the Ancient Spires maps group to fix an issue where a player's starting pond could stomp out one of the trade posts. I have seen this. The map should always spawn 2 trade posts on opposing sides of the maps. All right, bug fixes. Horse Archer Incendiary Arrow no longer lose attack speed when they're upgraded. That's good to know. Fixed a crash that could occur when clicking on a match summary and attempting to view the replay immediately after loading the main menu. Fixed a bug whereby it was possible to repair structures even if you don't have the necessary resources. I'm looking at you, -1 wood. Villagers will no longer T-pose when reloading after shooting Gaia. And UI UX changes. This is something I'm very passionate about. New icons were created for the Abbasid market. Toggle secondary trade resources. There you go. Post-match timeline UI. French's 3rd and 4th age markers will now be displayed properly. There you go. Fix an issue where the time to age 4 column in the post-game statistics tab under tech was missing. Very interesting. Player color minimap changes. Adjusted the orange player color so that it is easier to distinguish it from the red. Very good change. Something that I had noted as well. It does get hard. The other one I have difficulty with is pink and purple. And then a little bit, I think it was teal and green. But I think for the most part, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like I would, if I was, you know, I've got my scorecard, I'd still be giving it like, yeah, that's an A+. Like it's still very good. Updated the black outline thickness of unit icons on the minimap so that the color stands out more. And Wingard Rangers and Raiders have been added to the English tech tree. What's on the horizon coming up In future patches, we'll be addressing other issues like shift interfering with grid keys and under the grid key layout, as well as shift queuing not resetting after releasing shift. This is a big one. This is a really big one. Something that Grubby talks about quite a bit. The Muslim as well. These guys are both adversely affected by this. So that's great that that's getting changed. Last month, we shared an early view of the Season 3 roadmap, including key features like Team Ranked, Taunts, and Cheats. That will launch with our next major update. We've heard since some of you would like to hear an update on naval balance. Significant balance changes like this require time and a number of different steps, and teams acting in unison. In short, it's a bigger change than you would expect, which touches balance, gameplay, and our presentation team. It's something we've been working on, but it's something that needs to be presented in a completed package. So these are the changes you might see in our Season 3 update. Here's some of what we have planned for naval balance. I'm loving this already. Enhanced tactical rock, paper, scissor gameplay. Starting in the feudal age, you will have access to... Oh my fucking god, they actually did it. They actually fucking did it. This is something that I was talking about, and I talked about this very early on. I said, I'm sorry, I love Age of Empires 4, but you need to completely scrap what you've done with water and start again. You need to cut off the gangrenous limb. You need to let it grow back. Or, you know what? Build a prosthetic, because it was terrible. I'm sorry. The reality is, when you've got civilizations that start off with the scissors and civilizations that start off with paper, there's just no winning. It's just literally impossible. Sorry. Go back to the drawing board, start again. And that's exactly what they did. So fucking 10 out of 10, boys. And girls, and MBs. I'm so impressed with this. To admit, you know, it's such a difficult thing because of the sunk cost fallacy. You don't want to throw everything away that you've been working on. You want to try and reiterate. You want to try and make what you've got and try and make it better. It's so hard to do this. So fucking hell, big props to you guys for doing this. This is massive, and this is a change for the better. And I'm feeling shivers down my spine. I'm feeling this is the direction. This is the type of direction that I wouldn't expect a developer to take. But the fact that you've taken it makes me feel so much more belief in you guys as developers to see this. This is massive. Thank you. Earlier engagements. We're making ships more affordable, so expect to have bigger battles that start earlier in the game. Responsiveness tuning. Faster movement speed and more responsive tuning or turning of all ships. Reworked balance, new cost, stats, and enhancements available for all ships. Naval map changes, adding more wood and ensuring fairer distribution of fish, along with many other improvements of naval maps. Hey, dude. Wonderful. Wonderful. Absolutely. This is exactly what we wanted. This is perfect. I mean, and props to you guys for doing it so quickly. This is a massive change because obviously, like, they're not just going to be reskinning the Hulk up and being like, yeah, that's the fire ship. Like, they're probably going to have to redo a fire ship if that's what we're getting. I would suspect we're going to get a fire ship. You know, AoE2's got the fire ship. They've got some sort of, you know, rock, paper system, scissor system. I don't know exactly how it works, but I do know that there's different units available to you. This is great. This is really, 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 really good. Exactly what water needed. Ah. Man, this feels good. It feels good to read. Disclaimer, please note the list is subject to change and should not be considered comprehensive. All right, well, there you guys go. I gotta be honest, I'm incredibly excited about the future of Age of Empires 4. This looks incredible. The fact that we have got enhanced, tactical, rock, paper, scissor gameplay coming to water is just amazing. Like, oh, the French player made a Hulk in Age 2, one of the only civilizations in the game that's continually just got access to all these castle age units in the feudal age. I know we often talk about the devs being Mongol mains, but I think there may have been a French main in the beginning. But look, great changes. Super duper happy with this. Overall, 10 out of 10 patch. I'm absolutely loving it. This is perfect. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Thank you, devs. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. What changes have they missed out on? Personally, I feel like this is exactly what they needed. This is just going to... This should put everything in the right direction. Let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.